All right, everybody, for our final segment, every month we do a pulse check. If you don't know what this is, we just talk about a couple of games. Basically, taking a look at the market, the snapshot view, right? We're just looking at a handful of games for the Super Nintendo, kind of see where the market is at. These are titles that we each picked one. This month, Wes has the low pick, I have the high pick. We alternate that every single month. And then Brian has something right in the middle. So we're going to start out with Wes this month. Wes, what do you got for us for the SNES?
Ooh, my low pick was Super Star Wars for Super Nintendo. Awesome, awesome game. I remember when it first came out. The music was good. Had the John Williams soundtrack to it. Very hard though.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very hard.
Really
It
difficult.
it was a side scrolling action game based off the movie. They did all three. They did
Empire.
Super Empire and they did Jedi
Mm-hmm.
and but we're gonna go with just the first one, Super Star Wars. So if you want just a cartridge, it's only going to cost you $13, which is dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
A complete in box is going to be $33, and a sealed copy is only $127 for a Super Nintendo game. Sealed, that's dirt cheap.
Yeah, it is.
There must have been like a pallet of these that were found or something, or multiple pallets, like a warehouse full of
Mm-hmm.
these that are sealed for it to be 120. Like that's insane. Like most complete in box copies go for over like $100 on Super Nintendo just because the cardboard is
Mm-hmm.
harder to find. People threw it away. $137 for a sealed one is nuts, or 127 for a sealed one is insane.
But even still, a complete in box only going to cost you $33.
I don't know why I have a cart. I have a cart only. I have no idea why. I'm like baffled
Same.
by this. I'm so
What?
mad that I only have a cart right now.
All right, it's cheap. You need to go out and find a complete in box from somewhere.
Oh yeah, man. Well,
Really do.
SoCal Gaming Expo will be here in a few months. I might
Okay.
seek that out for $33. I might go seek that out for sure.
Okay.
Save up before you do. I mean,
So that was a low pick. Awesome game. Definitely a great choice, Wes. Brian, you got kind of our mid pick here. It's still, I would say, it's still kind of on the higher end a bit, for sure.
it's still pricey, but my pick is the Castlevania game Dracula X. Very, very underrated for the console. People have a tendency to focus on Super Castlevania 4, which is a great game. But considering we didn't get Rondo of Blood here in the States, Dracula X it's a fantastic game. True to form Castlevania. The straight up action form, not the Metroidvania type games, but just a great game where you go through the different baddies and just hack and slash, and fun time had by all. A cart only of this, to your point, Matt, still a little expensive, about $256.
Yeah,
You want to go ahead and get yourself a complete in box, it's going to run you over $1,000. It's $1,098.
Mm.
If you'd like a sealed copy, a little too rich for my blood, but it's $3,514.
nah. Y'all sealed collectors are crazy. You people collecting sealed games out there are wild.
That is a story for a different day, because I could go on and on for hours about sealed collectors.
I have sealed games, but it's just because I bought them and I just never got around to playing them, and they're sat there sealed.
you and me
Same.
both.
But at this point, I know how much they're worth. I'm not going to open them. If anything, I would just go buy a cartridge or something and just play the damn cartridge. Like, why the hell would I open it up? If I have a sealed copy and it's worth
You
that
just
much money.
You just explained why I'm not a seal collector.
Yeah, I don't want to buy a sealed game. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy them. Absolutely not. But if I have them, great. And if they're actually worth something, I'm not going to open them. I'm just going to go buy it again. Like, dude, I'll buy a digital copy when they're on sale for like $5. Get out of here.
But even still, a complete in box for Dracula X, almost $1,100.
Yeah, dude.
What?
Isn't that
That's some
insane?
expensive cardboard you got there.
Oh my goodness!
Because they threw it out. There's not a lot of them around.
It's true. Everybody threw that stuff out. I mean, the NES, I'm guilty of that. But it wasn't my system either. It was my sister's system. So she's guilty of it. And then I got some games for it. I'm guilty of throwing those away because, I mean, you're stupid. You're little. You're just like, oh, I just want to play Ninja Gaiden. I don't need this. Mistakes were made.
But I mean, $1,100 we think is pricey. That's still not the high pick.
Nope. No, it is not.
So the high
Matt,
pick here is Hagane, and it's one of the hardest to find SNES games. This was a rental exclusive, from what I understand. I do have a copy of this. I have a loose copy with a rental sticker on there. I do not have a complete in box. I do not have a sealed copy. The loose is $946. A complete is $2,665, and if by some chance you've figured out how to get a sealed copy, $6,308. Super expensive. If you look at the SNES charts, the only thing's more expensive than this is I think I mentioned like a Donkey Kong uh, version that was played in the Blockbuster at some point. There's like 3 or 4 games that are listed on price charting that are higher than this, but they're like, stuff you're not going to find. Like Hagane you can find if you go to a convention. That Donkey Kong, you know, trial card or whatever the hell it was, like you're not going to see that every day.
Once in a blue moon.
Yeah. So Hagane is a very expensive game. It's I forget who made it. Oh my god, I'm gonna forget. I think Hudson. I want to say Hudson made it. Which they made like the PC Engine games and all that stuff. Eventually, Konami bought it, so Konami would have that license now. So if it gets re-released, it'll be through Konami because they own Hudson. So that would be interesting to see. I could see them re-releasing that. These companies like limited run games, they're going back and they're trying to get games that are harder to find and re-releasing them, which I think is great. That's pretty cool that they're doing that, especially for getting an official re-release of some of the harder to find titles is awesome. But Hagane is, I don't know. I mean, like a lot of people don't even know about it, so I can't imagine that would happen. But stranger things have happened. Who knows?
True.
So that's what you're looking at.
Ooh, that's just crazy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's like 2600. That's more expensive than Panzer Dragoon Saga for the Saturn.
It is, but the cardboard, man, like this, like I said, I'm almost positive this game was a rental exclusive, and to the point that Brian brought up earlier, dude, they just threw away all the boxes. Like, how many of those places actually kept the box to Hagane? Like, not many. I have seen them; they exist, but they're pretty rare. All right, guys, so that wraps up the show for us today. This has been the SNES Special Edition with Brian. Thank you, Brian, again for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Brian. It was great having you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite and having a chance to talk about one of my favorite consoles.
Now, Brian, if you guys didn't know Brian, he also does stuff on his own. It's Mora Brothers. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Mora Bros, Mora Brothers. It's the same.
Okay, so he has his own content out there. I'm going to let him talk about that in a second. But on Nerdthusiast, if you go to nerdthusiast.com, which is our blog, you'll see his writings on there covering retro Nintendo stuff. Brian, what else can people learn about you if they want to check out your content?
Well, if you go to any of our Nerdthusiast social media, I do a lot of content for there, both on Instagram, on X, on Blue Sky, you name it. It's going to be there. And as Matt had mentioned, I do have my own social media accounts. I'm Mora Bros everywhere, so it's MouraBros. And basically, I do thematic content for Nintendo consoles. So in the month of February, for example, we would be doing 64 February. And so the majority of the stuff I post would be based on the Nintendo 64. And I try to keep that theme going throughout the entire month, just showing stuff in my collection and just things that I love about Nintendo and growing up a Nintendo fanboy. So if you're interested, check it out. Give us a follow, give us a like, go ahead and enjoy the content and give us some feedback too.
Awesome. Wes, what about you, sir? Where can people find you at?
You can catch me on Instagram at Grendel5XBX.
Matt, you guys can follow me at FromNJ2CA. The 2 is the number 2 over on Twitter or X or whatever they're going to call it next month. Well, check out our other podcasts and shows. We have a poker podcast that goes up every month. If you just go to nerdthusiast.com, you'll see all the kind of content that we cover. In addition to that, if you guys like what you heard today, please consider giving us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you really enjoyed what you heard and you want to help us out, you can support us financially. Nerdthusiast.com. I'm sorry, that's totally wrong. Patreon.com/nerdthusiast. You guys can support us for as little as $1 a month over there. And we do truly appreciate it. It helps us out tremendously. So yeah, that's about it. Until next time, you guys take care.
Have a good one, guys.